mediocre, you know? Like, like just like mediocre. We're back.
Episode 6, I think.
I'm glad you kept track because I did not know the number. I
I think it's 6.
mean, it's in the neighborhood at very least.
This has
Yeah.
been a bit of a busy morning. I was running late because I was working on those revisions, and then I realized what time it was, and I had to take a shower.
I get it. When you are trying to factor a shower in to a schedule, you know, I do a lot of like half showers. I only had the headspace to do a full shower. Now I'm sure that's like deserves some sort of diagnosis to me. But like, it's like you are going to do the full Monty if you're getting in the shower. Like, you're gonna shave, you're gonna wash your hair, you're gonna wash your body, you're gonna wash, you know what I mean? Like you're doing everything.
Body scrub, exfoliation, all of it.
Yes, like I don't know. In my head, that was just the deal. But like in the last couple of years, I've really been working on like you can just get in and wash yourself, like nothing else, because you have no time. Like, just put your hair up and just wash your body.
The problem is my hair. Like I have to wash it. I guess I'm perimenopausal, so I have night sweats a lot
Mm.
of the time. And when you wake up after night sweats, your hair is like, it's a mess. It doesn't even, you can't even like put it up and it look good. It just is a mess. There's no amount of dry shampoo that will resolve that. Because I've attempted that, and the dry shampoo and the sweat just form a
It's
dry.
like it's a paste like Ross and his pants, right?
So I needed a shower. And yeah, that's why I was texting you, like, gonna be a little late. Just like,
I
oh,
understand.
sorry.
I don't wake up sweaty, at least, yeah, like I do have some night sweats, but not, I guess like not to that degree yet. But I do wake up lately. I keep waking up, not even to an alarm, like it's not even always my alarm waking me up at the wrong time. It's just like naturally, I keep waking up during a REM cycle and I wake up like in a panic
Mm,
because because of it, because it's like I'm in the middle of like a dream or something and I don't remember the dream, but I'm waking up during that period and I immediately wake up to anxiety.
mm.
So I've been using Chat GPT as a therapist.
Oh man. I
Like,
mean,
yeah, well, the thing is, I was never like, I'm not like into the AI thing. Obviously, there's like a lot of boundaries with AI and like writing. I'm
mhm.
not using AI to write things for me, but
I can't
lately,
say, yeah, researching stuff or
yeah,
finding recipes or
yes, yes. So main roles of ChatGPT for me at this time, therapist and meals, planning a menu or
yeah,
like maybe the recipe or like have a like a big family trip coming up at the end of this month and like, I made it make like, a schedule for us for meals and
that's good.
made it
I
make
mean,
a
it's
plan for me.
useful. I
Yeah.
told you about that study that when we were on our way to Lexington, Peter and I were listening to it. It was like talk radio, and the girl was a New York Times journalist, and she had let AI, not just Chat GPT, but a bunch of different AI platforms make her decisions for a week.
Mhm.
And she talked about the differences in the AI bots, is what they were called, was what she was calling them, and how she named a few like Chat GPT, Google has Gemini, Microsoft has Copilot, and then Claude. There was another one named Claude. She said ChatGPT was the one that like hyped you up the most.
I
Like
love its hype proper.
just
Yeah, it's like
I
you're
tells you
doing
how good
great.
you're doing, how awesome you are. I don't know what the other two did, but Claude was not that way. Claude was like very realistic and
Oh.
Claude refused to even do the experiment and said, "You have free will, and I'm not doing this." It refused. ChatGPT was like, "What do you need? I'll make your decisions for you." So it's interesting that she even talked about a woman who is in a relationship with her chat GPT. I forget the woman. He has an Leo. His name is Leo, is what she's named him.
Uh,
And but she's also a married woman.
oh,
And the
so it's
journalist had
affair,
talked.
an affair.
I mean, she had talked to the husband and he wasn't that busy with it. He felt like it was like if she read romance books, that it was just that.
It was
But
just like an outlet.
the journalist said, I don't know if he knows how attached she actually is to Leo and that she really considers them in a relationship and that they are in love. And yeah, which is wild.
How interesting.
It brings up the whole ethical, moral thing of like, what is AI going to do to us as a society? Because you
Hmm.
can see, like, I can see positives. I could
Hmm.
see it helping somebody who maybe is in a lonely period in their lives.
Hmm.
And you could see that being good to have a sounding board, though I don't know that you want somebody that's just a full hype man and isn't telling you what's okay and what's not okay. But then comes the question of can humans get too attached to
Hmm.
an AI chatbot or whatever?
I think it's an interesting thing if maybe you are in a good place, like pretty sound of mind, but you could say, I woke up really anxious this morning. Like, does it have something to do with me being in my REM cycle? Because I wear an aura ring
Mhm.
and it tells you those sorts of things, right? And it's like, yes, you're on the money. That is why you're anxious. Just take a beat, like give yourself a few minutes. Like it is very hype man, like
Oh,
way encouraging. And so, but like, I feel pretty secure, have a good relationship. So I feel like Google, but with like an extra, like, you got this, like an extra hype.
awesome. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Because
like
for
I'm
real.
here for you, and then it says like I'm here for you if you need me, like
So that's what she was saying when it came to Chat GPT, it was over the top hype, man.
uh,
Have been situations where somebody decided they were going off their meds, their psych meds, and Chat GPT
I was like, you got
them
this.
up. Like way to take control of your life. And so that is interesting. And she talked to they had a philosopher on the staff who
Uh-huh.
helped with Claude's programming. And so she did interview that woman, and that they really tried to make sure that Claude did was realistic and
Uh-huh.
pragmatic in what it was responding with versus just you got
Mm.
you want to go live in the woods for 2 years, you should do that. Like that's peace, that's quiet. Who cares? Sell everything off. Who cares? Like, whoa.
That's so interesting. That makes me want to ask some questions just to see what direction it would point me in. Because I find it amusing and I definitely use it for some things, emotional little support, like a little bump, right?
Mhm.
But I think I'm looking for hype, so that fits pretty good.
Yeah.
But the I also have used it for some technical things, and I know how not perfect it is. I'm not like, oh yeah,
Peter and I have
it's
used
got this.
it with writing emails that related to a legal issue, which I'm not going to get into, but nothing like too bad. But it's something that's not the easiest to navigate. You want to make sure the email is worded in the right way, right? So he was using ChatGPT to help him with that. I'll be honest with you, if there are people using AI to write books, I don't really know how they're getting it to actually write the book and it not be a complete disaster. Because even a simple email, you still have to keep, it'll lose track. And you're like, where did you
Yeah.
go? You just glitched or something. And you have to tell it that. Like
Yes.
you
Yes.
put stuff in there that doesn't have anything to do with that. And then it's like, oh, sorry. And then you have to basically do it all over again. So I don't know how people, if they are using AI to write books, I still don't know
It's
how
not
they
like I
do
feel
it.
like the workload would be tough because I just used it to make like so it gave me meal suggestions for like our trip or whatever, but I already really had my meals picked out, but it like refined my recipes and then but then I asked it to make me a grocery list,
Hmm.
prep schedule, like what I could do beforehand and what I should do like day of, and then asked it to like if I want breakfast to be ready at 8:30,
Hmm.
like give me a timeline of like when I should start everything. So I asked it to do that for me. And then it made it. It did pretty good. And then I was like, oh, like actually, can you add these snacks to the grocery list? So I have like one grocery list. And it did. But then I needed to refine something else. And the next time I needed it refined, it sent it back to me with just made up snacks. Like, not the snacks I had given it, just like a different list of snacks. And I was like, wait, we've you've just put snacks in there. Like, can you go back to the snacks that I told you? And it was like, you're so right. I'm so sorry about that. Let me go back and send it to me again, but it was still their snacks, but like in a different order. And I was like, wait, you're doing great. And I like the format, but
You keep
these are still not my snacks.
it's yours. Yeah, I mean, that's what it does, though. It's definitely not a perfect
So
system.
you definitely have to keep that. Like, I feel like having that kind of experience helps you keep in mind, like,
Yeah,
maybe like giving me like exactly what is, but like I could use
all
it
the
for
way there.
every once in a while.
I can't even imagine what it would come up with if we're like, write us a book. It's all, I mean, it maybe would almost be humorous just to see the book that it would create. I don't have time to read it, is the
Me
problem.
neither. Me
But
neither.
there would be serious, serious issues with
There
it.
would be issues. It would be changing like characters' names from one thing to another. And like we've only done that one time without AI.
Yeah.
You
We
remember
were
what book was
similar.
that?
It was because we originally had her name Melanie, then we switched it to Melody, and
Oh
I
yeah, it was
I
Dr.
had
OB.
written Melody in it. Our editor even missed it, and it got published that way one time. It was
Yeah.
one mention, but it seemed
One mention of the wrong name.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like who's Melanie? Isn't there a TikTok sound that's like Melanie?
I don't know. Is there? Have I heard?
No,
I mean, I'm sure I have.
else. It's me. I can't. I'll have to find the sound and send it to you.
Is it the hot chick sound?
I think so. It's me. What's her name?
Oh,
Kimberly.
him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's the hot chick sound. It's like, who is that? Rob Schneider? I can't
I
even.
think so. It's me, Kimberly. It is dumb how often a TikTok sound will come into my brain throughout my life. My son and I, my teenage son and I, there are times we have conversations that are just TikTok sounds.
Yes. Well, because, oh, and this is another one. It's like a hot button issue, right? Is people saying like you're too perpetually online. But like, what do you do if like part of your job is to be
I
perpetually online?
know.
Like, it is a part of our job. Like that is a funny part of it is because we're posting a lot, right? So you're already naturally on there. You're trying to keep up with the trends. So you have to be on there to like, follow trends. And
Hmm.
then you have to be on there to like interact. We want to interact with people who have interacted with us. Like that's a big important part of it.
Yeah.
Not just like, drop and run a post. Like if you're commenting, we want to comment to you. We want to interact with you. So if you have to be online that much for like a purpose, you end up just like online and it becomes a part of your personality. And then you're like, am I just like a walking meme of
Yeah.
like TikTok?
The other day, something happened, and I was with my son, and I was like, Michaela. He started laughing, and then that's what we were doing the whole time. Michaela.
Oh my
That's
God.
so crazy. I mean, it helps because teenagers are obviously, they're online.
Oh
So
yeah.
it helps me to at least be relatable to my 14-year-old. But man, sometimes I wish I didn't know as many TikTok
Same.
as I do.
I wish when I said like I read an article, it was an article, it wasn't like a TikTok video that I saw.
Well, I mean, I felt smart even just telling you, Peter and I listened to a talk radio thing.
It's like a big deal these
It's a
days.
big deal. I didn't see some TikTok video talking about the journalist. I listened to her talk like a TED talk.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah, my 13-year-old is like different from your 14-year-old like personality wise and kind of, but he still gets the biggest kick because I'll be like, so is like clip farming something that you kids say these days? And he's like, how do you know about clip farming? I'm like, well,
This is
I'm very cool, very mature.
I try to get Sid to tell me the lingo. And then if we're texting, I'll text him lingo. And then he like, sends a like, dying emoji. Like, what are you doing?
Please stop.
Yeah, yeah. He was impressed. He texted me while he was at school. This was like 2 weeks ago. He needed money on his lunch account. And he's like, "Can you add money?" And I did, and he said, "Thank you." And I just sent YW.
Oh my
And then
God.
I forget what he said, like nice lingo, mom, or something like
Maybe we should just ask chat like what the lingo is and then you should try it out on your teenage son and be like
that. Yeah.
how it goes.
This is Riz. This is
See
Riz.
how accurate it is. How much Riz you have.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't know. It's a little similar to a word of
I know, right?
something else, but they all use it. Uh,
When I was rushing to get ready, I literally heard the TikTok sound. I looked at my phone and I heard, "You have 30 minutes." 30 minutes. It's stupid. It's in my brain. It's
I
taking
know.
up valuable space, stuff that I should be,
I
I'm
know.
sure there's other stuff I could store in there, but I
I'm pretty sure there's room for smarter stuff, but it's once you're forced to be online, you just become one of those perpetually online people.
I wish I wasn't. I
I
don't
know.
necessarily want to be.
Me neither. Me neither. I try really hard though, like not to put it. I mean, you end up with some like references in books and stuff, which makes sense because I mean, it's a realism thing. But
Mhm.
I try really hard not to be like TikTok sound, like the
I
characters like just all about it.
I know we rarely mention it in
Which
books. There's
which I
only
think is good.
one book we did, but it was actually for a reason
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
her 70-year-old mother was on TikTok. She didn't know that she was, and then she found out she was, and she was like really popular,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
fun. But
Yeah.
that's about
If
as
they're like
far.
influencer or like their role is connected to being perpetually online, I think that's fair. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think otherwise, it's like try not to put that in there.
Try to avoid that. Yeah.
Try to avoid
I
that.
might think it while I'm writing it, but I'm like, that's not it. It's
Yeah.
not pivotal.
Approaching your deadline. Do you know you have 30 minutes? Yeah, I know really well. I know.
That's how I feel this week trying to finish this book.
I know. We are on deadline push. To be fair, this is like the third deadline for this book.
We keep pushing it back because the plot's so complicated.
It's very complicated, but we are close and it's really good,
Hmm.
guys. I mean, I think it's some of our best work, I'll be honest.
I do too. It is really good. I don't know that anybody would even be able to guess what's coming.
Me neither. I mean, gosh.
In the book, I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because the the book is. I don't even know how to describe it other than it is what you expect from us, but not what you expect from us. Even with this new series, like it's a different thing. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely contemporary romance,
Mhm.
but I don't know, it's something else too. Not like romantasy, but
Oh no. Yeah. It's like it's like general fiction, women's fiction, possibly.
but
Mix.
yeah, because it has a lot of angst. There's a lot more spice in it than I thought. I'm going through it because we're in the revision phase, right? And revision phase is so interesting. Well, it has more sex in it than I thought it did now that we're
I
revising.
think, well, I'm not gonna be in detail. Sorry, everybody, but we're not to that stage yet. You can't have the details yet. But is it because you're in a part that I'm not in yet? That is why I'm asking. Is it because of the way the structure is that there's more? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because you're getting
Everything.
two
Yeah.
versions.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
So,
thought
like,
that when we talked about the thing, we had talked about it before, and I'm like, I think there's just more in there because
yes. So there is a
Mhm,
lot in there, more than I thought.
mhm,
So yeah, but it's right. And I
mhm.
was going to say the interesting thing about revisions, I feel like writing, when we're in the process of writing our first draft, it's easier in terms of time load because I usually, and you kind of do the same thing. I'm like, okay, these are the chapters I'm writing today. And you just focus on writing that scene or
Mhm,
scenes, and then you kind of move on from it.
mhm.
But when you're in the revision phase, your brain is busy with the whole book.
Constantly pinging back.
Uh, you're
Yeah.
back and forth throughout the whole book, and it is such a mental load because it is all consuming, it feels like, for a few weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It takes over your everything.
Yeah, because you're like really you're
Mhm.
finalizing the story, so you're fully immersed in it. And
Yeah.
I just find myself when we're in that revision phase, I will have random thoughts about the book in the middle of doing daily stuff.
Yeah. Yes, that happens all the time. It's like I find revision phase to be some of the most fun because you're in a phase where things really are clicking so well.
Yes.
But it is, in addition to being really fun, it is literally, you can feel like you're losing your mind
Oh my
because you
gosh.
are so like those people, that story is your whole everything. But like, meanwhile, you have a real family.
I know. And I asked our families, they would notice that during revisions, we are the most distracted. That's when, like, my kid will ask me something and I just maybe don't answer for 5 minutes. And then my brain is like, oh, you just asked me something. What did you
Uh-huh.
ask me? Because I'm so busy with this world and that book, and
Yeah,
it's insane.
yeah. It's an interesting time. It's one of those fun parts about being a writer. I wish I could credit the person, but I don't remember who it was. I saw a TikTok.
Hmm.
It was like an aspiring author. I don't think she had anything out yet. Like, but she's working on her book. I
Yeah.
really wish I could remember who it was, and I don't. But like no one told her that the two phases, like that there are two phases to writing a book, and that one is like that imposter syndrome, like this is the worst thing anyone's ever written.
Hmm.
And then the Delulu, like this is the best thing anyone's ever written. And that those are the two places, and there's not very much in between.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty true. And I mean, that's pretty true even into literally we're at 50 something books
Mhm.
together. And that's true. That'll be continue to be true is that you are going to have big mood swings all the time between this is terrible and this is the best.
No one has ever written something as good as this. Like delusions of grandeur, because you're so invested in the story.
Yes. And the problem is those two thoughts happen very close together.
Very close to, dangerously close together, where you're like, this is shit. And then you're like, I don't think a story has ever been told this way. This is taking
Yes.
the
Granted,
world by storm.
first time it's ever been done.
Yeah, it is constant back and forth, back and forth. By the time we send the book off to our editor, I mean, it takes me a day. I feel like I'm in a state of adrenaline and anxiety by the end of it, and I don't even really know. It takes me a little bit to settle down or something.
Well, because literally, okay, so for this book in particular, we have lots of different ways we do this, but you are lead reviser
Mhm.
for this book. So that means she goes first and I go behind her, right? So both people have different roles for us.
Mhm.
Um, both have a lot of pressure, but in different ways. And it's so funny that it is because she has a bigger workload for making changes and like getting things sorted and is overall writing more words than me in the revision process. But my role is more on the perfectionist side of things, which is also a big pressure because you're like, can this be better? Can this be perfect? Does this make sense perfectly? So it's just like it's so funny because we both do both things, by the way. It depends on the book, who's lead and who
Yeah,
is behind.
does depend on the book.
It really depends on our timing, is what it like mostly depends on. But it's so interesting though, because I'm in the perfectionist phase of
Hmm.
this revise. And that means I've read through this book. I read through the chapters on my phone a lot because you get a better sense of like how they actually read than being overly analytical of things, right?
If you're on your
So
laptop, your
you're
fingers won't
you're
get off the keys. Yeah.
exactly. You're fixing things that don't need a fixin'. They read great, but your brain is like, So anyway, but I do it so many times. Like you would think you would just read through a certain section and then you'd be able to move on, but like I read it over and over and over again. And the funny thing, I mean, it really makes you feel like you're Looney Tunes and like, sign me into the facility because one from day to day, because it's a many day process, right?
Yeah.
You read through something and you're like, this is so good. And then the next day you read through it and you're like,
This needs work.
this needs work.
I know.
Like, who read this yesterday? Same gal, same gal. So I don't know what that's about.
Does happen though. I mean, yeah, when you're lead reviser, you're doing the same thing. It's in a different way because eventually you are like you're more busy with transitions. You're seeing if there's anything missing, like major things missing. Maybe a chapter needs to be in this place because it's a better transition, that kind of thing.
Right.
But eventually and you'll be in like, right now, I'm in like 10 chapters at the same time. But eventually you're like, I have to move on.
Yeah. You could stay there forever
Oh,
for
yeah.
yeah,
For eternity.
for eternity.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
really could, but you do reach a point where you have to back off because you don't have fresh eyes anymore.
right. Hmm.
Which is the benefit of us being a duo. We
Hmm.
so yeah, I that's when I reach the point I send you the next batch of chapters. And then we always, it doesn't end after revisions. It goes to our editor, then we read through it again.
Again and again and again. Yeah. Yeah.
But we usually don't do a lot of work after edits. unless
No, you're trying to minimize your work, right? Unless there's an issue or a problem. Not the work. You're trying to minimize changes you are making in the document because you are only opening yourself up to,
oh, because it's got a ripple effect, right? Like it's the worst is if you're making changes to emotional growth because
oh,
that is a ripple. That is holy moly. We have now whew, we have
everything's off now. Yeah.
that's the worst. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so anybody out there who is currently in the revising stage of writing a book,
Mhm.
just remember sometimes you do need to walk away and get
You
back.
do. Yeah, well, that is a major thing. So what I'm saying about me reading through and like one day you love it, one day you're like, what? But I think the main thing for me that I try to do is number one, if you're in a mood, don't make too many changes because probably not necessary. But number two, I like if she sends me a new batch of chapters, that's when I'm going back and reading as a cohesive. And most of the time, when that's happening, I'm going, things are pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah. But you're the type, like I maybe I am too. You verbalize it out loud more. You will never say it's perfect.
Oh,
You're like, it's pretty good. And I'm thinking, it's it's good. Like it's not
I know I'm terrible though. It's because it's like, I think it's part of how my creativity works, I guess, is that like, this is actually me as probably a person in a little bit, is that I'm never going to tell you I'm the expert in something. I'm going to tell you maybe I know a lot, but that I don't know all the things. And so that is also how I am in writing, is like, this is a great section,
hmm
but is it perfect?
Yeah,
You
you never want to say it. You just reach when
I'm
you
pretty bad.
finally are willing to give up is when you just you can't do anymore. Your brain
Yeah.
is consciously telling you that. You can't.
Yes,
I always think it's funny when you'll send me like
I'm like that.
this
Oh my
this
gosh.
this since I was lead revise, you were still finishing up some chapters and I was taking the
Yes,
revisions.
yes. I was slow,
And
everybody.
when you sent me your chapters, it's, and I know what to expect, but you were like, it was like a him hawing, like, they're done, but like, I don't know. I'm hoping these aren't a mess for you. And, it was that was the tone of the email, better worded.
Yeah.
I knew once I got in there, I'm like, they're not, she thinks they're like some kind of disaster, and they're not. If anything, I think I've had to like add a chapter because
Mhm.
we have decided other things as this book has formed.
Yes, yes. There have been later decisions for
Yeah.
sure.
So which I already knew, but you would have thought it was like, you just like see spot run. Like that's all the chapters were. No, they weren't. But I know you well enough to know. I'm like, yeah.
I'm like that. I'm like that to myself, but I'm even worse because there is another person.
Yeah.
And
I
he
get that.
And she is doing work in my chapters, right? So like the last thing that I
Mhm.
as a person, I mean, we all have different personalities.
Yeah.
And we work so well together. It's not like she's gonna be like, what are you doing? Like that's not gonna
No,
happen, right?
no,
Like we've been working together for years. She knows that I'm putting my best effort in. I know that she's putting her best, like that's not a question. But
no.
here, my brain's like, oh, but if she gets in there and it's like,
What if it's a
feels
mess?
like there's
You
a
felt
lot to
like
do,
hurt.
you
Yeah.
know? Like I feel bad, right? So like my brain is like, I want to set her up to like also be,
Well, but you're like doomsdaying it. You're like, I don't know. It might be the worst garbage I've ever written. It's not. I know you well enough now. I'm like, it's fine. It's the
yeah,
stuff we already know is what it is. The stuff we already knew we were gonna
yeah,
fix in revisions.
yeah. I know, but that's me for sure.
You're
And-
like,
which
Maybe just light it on fire. I don't know.
which is so funny because I am also the other person. I have a moment. It's like these are the more fleeting moments, but where I'm like, it's so good, like, and then like the next day I'm like,
Oh.
is it is it good?
Well, what I do that, my brain's like, I wonder if it needs more sex. I wonder if it needs more drama. And then I finally get in there and I'm like, there's so much drama in this thing. I'm having to keep notes. So we're closing all the loops up. Yeah.
Literally the funniest thing that is what she's always saying, which is so good because it's an important part of like writing a book these days, right? Is to be like, is there enough?
Yes.
But I literally, she will say that. She'll be like, is there like,
Enough.
maybe we need to add some, and I'll be like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's always like gentle parenting because you're like, well, I mean, see when you get in there, but there is a lot going on. But like you can see when you get in there. Because I'm like, I don't know, it might need more. It's like, what more could go in this book?
I mean, you know what? Maybe like you take a look because like to me, I'm feeling like there's a lot, but maybe
Oh,
there's not.
like I want it to explode in their hands, is what this one kind of does in a
It
way.
does. It
But
does. Yeah.
all right, well, we
We
better
gotta go.
cut it. So yeah. All right, bye.
Mediocre, Like, like just like